Now, also the Olympia, I want to bring it up again, but they were supposed to bring in women's bodybuilding, right? Have you heard about that?
Yes,
Women's bodybuilding. What is
yes.
your take on it? I mean, obviously, how do you feel about women's bodybuilding in general? And how do you feel about its making a comeback?
I have a utmost respect for women bodybuilders as long as they don't take it to extremes. That's it. Simple as that. Just stay a woman. I find muscle attractive. Yes. If you put a bikini girl next to a figure girl, next to a physique girl, next to a bodybuilding girl, me personally, I would go for somewhere in between bikini and figure. Yeah, that's my personal taste. But as far as respect factor and looking at someone and bowing down saying nice and I give you that full-fledged respect of what you've achieved, yes, a female bodybuilding is great and it's all that and they work their asses off. Just make sure you don't take it to the extremes because we went there. We've already gone there once and we saw what happened. It became a niche. It became a niche sport, and you get all these schmoes coming out, and then the girls get a bad reputation. And you don't want that. Keep it classy, and it will be fine.
I want to actually, talk to you more about this because on one hand, I understand what you just said, right? You prefer this, and this is what the type of woman that you find attractive, right? I get
Right.
that. But we're talking about a sport now, right? We're talking about an extreme sport, and it's not necessarily a beauty pageant, or is it? I don't know. But the point is, it's a sport, right? So the objective was to get the most muscular and most toned body on stage, right?
Right.
That was the objective, right? So is it wrong to be in that? You know what I mean? As women's bodybuilding should be just like men's bodybuilding.
It wasn't the women's bodybuilding's fault. It wasn't their fault. The athletes had nothing to do with this. It was the judges. The judges should have said, if we see extreme muscularity, we will cut you down. Women should stay feminine. That's my personal opinion. It's just my personal opinion. I think that women should stay feminine. I'm a guy that loves women. Okay, I appreciate women. I love women, and I think that women should stay feminine. A muscular woman is very feminine to me, as long as she stays pretty.
Um, so what about men's bodybuilding then? Should it also be objective not to be too muscular too then? If you were to compare the two, I mean, or is it okay for a
Great,
man to be that
great
muscular?
question. That's where aesthetics comes into play. Okay. Yes, the men's bodybuilders, the muscularity should always be the first round and the first thing judged. Men's bodybuilding should be judged on muscularity. Let me give you a perfect example. Right now, everyone is saying Flex Lewis has a good chance because of his conditioning, ultra conditioning, and the fact that he doesn't have to make weight anymore. That's true. But now he has to stand next to Rami. He has to stand next to hopefully Kai. He's got to stand next to monsters. And the number one thing that should be judged in bodybuilding, always, in my opinion, is muscularity. You should have that super freaky muscularity. Then you have to maintain a certain look. The word that I've been using for the past year and a half is spongy. A lot of the athletes nowadays are spongy. And look at how many people came out. You did all the interviews, lad. Dorian, Ronnie, everybody came out. The conditioning's not there. Kevin Lebroni just said it again. The conditioning. Why are we all saying that? There's got to be a reason. If one person said it, okay. Two people, okay. But it's not three, four, five. Everyone keeps saying the same thing. I am not saying anything negative about the guys these days. They're going with what they are seeing being rewarded. Okay. Muscularity is being rewarded, but you got to have the shape and conditioning. The conditioning must be there. The last of the Mohicans, that's what I call him, is Dexter Jackson. Okay, with that sucked in, ultra sucked in face. Yes, Dexter has been pushing the limits of fullness to stand next to these guys, but it's still his conditioning is the by far the best thing on stage. The only other person that had anything close to Dexter's look was Hadi. Hadi had that same sucked in, ultra conditioned look. That's the look that you have to come in, and that's the look that needs to be there. So for the judges, I'm sitting there saying, hey, the women have to stay feminine. The men have to stay as aesthetic. Okay? It's a double-edged sword. I'm not just putting a limit on the women. I'm saying the guys have to have that too. Be big, but be aesthetic.
So if a woman is a bodybuilder, right, and she competes every year, and everybody always wants improvement every year. You got to come a little bit better, right? So what is she supposed to be doing then if she can't get bigger or more muscular? You know what I mean? Like, what's
Improve her
the
symmetry. Get the quads a little bit more sweepy so you get a better X frame. Cap out the shoulders a little bit more. Make sure your conditioning is even a little bit more spot on. Okay, those little things, details. When you turn professional, I mean, let me ask you this seriously. When we watch the Olympia bikini, the 10th place girl could easily switch place with the first place girl. It's that close between them.
I don't really know fully how they judge it, like fully. You know
Well, I
what I
mean,
mean? As
listen, there's
far as
all the criteria and everything is there. But if you want to really break it down to the basics of what's going on, when you're at the top professional level, you're pretty close to each other. Okay, it makes the minute changes and little thing here. Okay, you gotta be a little bit fuller there. Blah 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 blah. It's a subjective sport. People look at you and say, "Hey, I think this person's better than that person." If that's what it is, but in general, that's the rule. If they're very very close, you just have to improve. Just make sure you come a little bit better. My advice to everybody who competes, especially on the pro level, finish competing, send your pictures, or go to Steve Weinberger and say, put him on the spot. Put Steve on the spot. He likes that. He actually likes that. If you put him on the spot, what do I need to do to place better at my next show? Steve will sit there and say, more quad sweeps, a little bit more conditioning here, and do this and fix your pose. He'll tell you exactly what to do. So then when you do it and you come back on stage, he has to give you the credit because you put him on the spot. Do that, and you'll be fine.